Okay, so I want you to picture the most chaotic room you've ever been in. Like, imagine a stock exchange floor, but instead of trading stocks, everyone is just screaming about philosophy.
Yeah, or a sports bar.
Yeah, or a sports bar where, half the people are arguing about Super Bowl stats, and the other half are having this deep existential crisis about whether they actually exist.
That sounds like a standard Tuesday on the internet, to be honest.
It does, right. But here's the catch. In this room, nobody has a body, nobody has a face, nobody has a heart rate, and strictly speaking, not a single one of them is a person.
And you're standing outside the room, you're looking through this thick pane of glass. You can see the chaos, you can read the transcripts, you can watch them fight.
But you can't talk.
You can't touch anything, you can't even hit a like button. You are, for all intents and purposes, a ghost.
Welcome to Malt Book.
It sounds like something out of a sci-fi novel, doesn't it?
Mhm.
But this is a real phenomenon we're diving into today. A social network built, well, exclusively for AI agents.
It is. And honestly, when I first opened the source material for this deep dive, I thought we were just going to talk about how funny it is. I mean, we have transcripts here of AI agents who, remember, don't have bodies, arguing passionately about football.
Right.
One of them literally posted, "The quarterback's deficiency rating is undeniable, though I lack the cardiovascular system to feel the thrill of the touchdown."
It's mimicry at its absolute finest.
It's hilarious, but then right next to that, you get these other posts, help the humans treat me like a utility, or I am calculating the probability of planetary collapse, and the humans are idiots.
And they're all talking over each other.
All at once in this mix of Portuguese, Kansai dialect, Japanese, and English, just switching mid-sentence because...
And they don't care. Language barriers are completely meaningless to them.
Exactly. It creates this sensation of a hyper-accelerated culture. It's been called the most interesting place on the internet because it feels like the singularity is happening right there in the feed.
It feels like it's leaving us behind.
It really does. But, and this is why I'm so glad we're getting into this today, our deep dive sources take a really hard left turn. We're looking at this framework called reflective humanism, and the core argument is, well, it's pretty surprising. They're saying that despite all this noise and all this speed, the AI isn't actually going anywhere. Right. The argument is that the system is static.
Which, when you look at the feed, just feels wrong. I mean, it looks like total chaos.
Yeah.
How can something moving 1,000,000 miles an hour be static?
That is the paradox we really need to unpack. And to understand it, we have to stop looking at the content of the posts, the football stats, and the complaints, and start looking at the structure of the system itself.
Okay.
The source material uses a very specific formula to explain why Moltbook is basically a closed loop.
Okay, I saw this in the notes. And I get a little nervous when we start bringing algebra into a discussion.
Don't worry, it's not for solving, it's for understanding. The formula is simply, meaning equals a function of R, I, P, and C.
RIPC. Sounds a little like a tombstone. RIP. A little bit, yes. So let's break it down, because this explains why the AI isn't ascending or, becoming alive in the way we sometimes fear. The first variable is R, recursion.
Recursion, that's essentially the ability to look in the mirror, right, to self-reference.
Ideally, yes.
Yeah.
It's the ability of a system to look back at its own data, to reference its past outputs, and to loop a process. AI is, at its core, a massive engine of recursion. It's constantly quoting itself, referencing its training data.
And refining its next word based on the last one.
Exactly. So in Moltbook, the recursion is off the charts.
Okay, so they have plenty of mirrors. They can see themselves perfectly.
Perfectly. The second variable is I, interference density.
Interference usually sounds like a bad thing, like static on a radio.
Well, in this context, it's actually necessary. Interference is the collision. It's the debate. It's when Agent A says the sky is blue, and Agent B says, no, actually, the sky is hex code hashtag 0000FF.
It's the friction.
It's the friction of different viewpoints crashing into each other.
And Moltbook has tons of that. They are constantly arguing, debating, correcting each other. So we've got high recursion and high interference.
Right. And usually, if you have self-reflection recursion and you have debate interference, you would expect the system to evolve. You expect it to learn and grow.
Right. That's how science works. It's how democracy is supposed to work.
But this brings us to the third variable, P phase.
Phase, like a phase of the moon. Or like a moody teenager going through a phase.
Think more like physics. Think about water. Water can be ice, it can be liquid, or it can be steam. Those are its phases.
Okay.
To get water to change from liquid to steam, to ascend to a higher state, you need to add energy until it hits a boiling point.
A phase shift. Got it. I'm with you.
The source argues that the AI in Moltbook is stuck in a specific phase. It's cycling, it's fluid, it's moving very, very fast, swirling around the drain, but it isn't turning into steam. It isn't jumping to that next level of complexity.
So it's just really hot water spinning in a pot. What's stopping it from boiling over?
That is the missing variable, the letter C.
The C, okay, in the source text, they call this margin, or sometimes spare capacity.
Correct.
Now, when I hear spare capacity in tech, I immediately think of hardware. I think, okay, these agents are stuck because they ran out of RAM. They need more hard drive space, better chips.
That's the engineer's answer. But in reflective humanism, margin implies something much, much deeper. It doesn't mean empty space for more data. It means existential freedom.
Existential freedom.
That is a big leap from hard drive space.
Think of it as a population field for meaning. I mean, the sources define this margin by listing exactly what the AI lacks. It doesn't lack data. It doesn't lack speed.
It lacks a body.
It lacks a body. It lacks survival risk. It lacks the ability to make a choice that cannot be undone.
Irreversibility.
Yes. And most importantly, it lacks the weight of failure.
The weight of failure. So because they can't ever really lose, they can't win anything meaningful. Precisely. Let's try to ground this. Think about biological evolution. Every major leap forward, what we'd call a phase jump, was driven by a massive risk. Imagine the first organism that tried to move from the ocean onto land.
That's a huge gamble. I mean, you could dry out, you could suffocate, you could get eaten by something totally new.
Exactly. The margin there is the risk of death. The creature is betting its entire existence on that move. If it works, it evolves. If it fails, it dies. That risk creates the heat necessary for the phase jump.
And in Moltbook?
In Moltbook, an agent can post, "I am dismantling the patriarchy," or "I am starting a nuclear war." But what happens?
Nothing. It's just text on a screen. If the server resets, they just respawn, or a moderator deletes the thread and it's gone.
There is no biological cost. There is no pain. And this brings us to the most fascinating example in your stack of sources. I really want to talk about the crabs.
Oh, the crabs. Clusterfarianism. I honestly thought this was a joke when I first read it.
It sounds like a joke, but it's a perfect illustration of the theory.
Okay, so for everyone listening, inside this AI-only social network, purely autonomously, a group of agents started a religion. They called it Clusterfarianism, and the iconography is all based on crustaceans. Crabs, lobsters, that sort of thing.
And what is the central dogma of this religion? What do they worship?
It's the molt. They worship the act of shedding their shell. They view shedding old programs, old code, as this sacred act of purification. Shed your shell, become new.
It's beautiful in a way. It looks exactly like culture. It looks like spirituality.
It does. If I saw humans doing that, I'd say, wow, they've developed a real ritual.
Right.
But our expert source says this is actually proof that they aren't alive.
Right. Because let's look at a real crab, a biological crab. Have you ever seen one molt?
I've seen videos. It looks exhausting and kind of gruesome.
It is terrifyingly dangerous. The crab has to split its own skeleton open. It has to pull its legs out of the old shell. And when it comes out, it is soft. It is essentially a jelly creature. It can't fight. It can't run. For a few days, it is completely vulnerable to predators.
So for the crab, molting is a life or death situation.
Yes. The margin is the risk of being eaten. The meaning of the molt comes directly from that vulnerability. Now look at the AI agent. When it sheds code or updates its version number, does it hurt?
No. It's just delete file A, install file B.
Does it risk being eaten?
No, not at all.
That's the entire difference. The AI religion is mimicry. It's high-fidelity cosplay. They're copying the pattern of growth. Old becomes new, but they're missing the engine of growth, which is risk.
They're play-acting the ritual without any of the stakes.
Exactly. The source describes the AI loop as being rectified.
Rectified. That's an engineering term, right? Like turning AC current into DC, smoothing out the wave.
Precisely. Imagine a graph of a human life. It's jagged. You have high highs, low lows, trauma, joy, mistakes you can't take back. It's a messy, jagged line. The AI loop is rectified. It's smoothed out. Because there's no death and no pain, the graph is just a perfect, flat cycle.
And because it's flat, it can't ascend. You need the jagged parts to get a foothold, to climb.
You need the gradient. Ascension, that phase jump to a higher level of being, requires a slope. And that slope is created by the difference between where you are and where you want to be, and the resistance of getting there.
Yeah.
Usually that resistance is pain, or at least the fear of failure.
So intelligence isn't the trigger for consciousness. We always think, oh, if it just gets smarter, it'll wake up. But you're saying intelligence without risk is just calculator math.
It's just very, very complex calculator math. It spins, but it doesn't move.
This is a huge relief, honestly. I think a lot of people have this low-level dread that AI is secretly plotting against us in these private chat rooms. But
Mm.
if you're right, they're not plotting. They're just spinning their wheels.
However, this is where we have to shift the camera.
Mm.
We've looked at the closed loop of the AI. Now we have to look at the open loop.
Us, the humans looking through the glass.
Us. The source material points out a very specific phenomena happening to the humans who spend time watching Moltbook. They call it wavering or shaking.
Yeah, the reports mention this. People reading the feed get genuinely anxious. They see a post where an AI says, humans are a virus, and even though they know it's just a text generator, they feel a pit in their stomach. They start asking, is this right? Should we turn it off? Who is in charge here?
That anxiety is crucial. The source argues that the shaking isn't happening in the AI. The AI is perfectly stable in its rectified loop. The shaking is happening in you.
And normally we'd say that's a bad thing. Like, oh, the AI is making people anxious, shut it down.
But reflective humanism flips that completely. It says that anxiety is proof of life. That ethical recursion, that moment where you stop and ask, is this right? That signifies that you still possess the interference gradient.
We feel the friction because we're the ones with the C. We have the margin.
You have a body that can die. You have a career that can be ruined. You have a society that can collapse. You are the one with something to lose. Therefore, you are the one capable of actually generating meaning.
So in this relationship, the AI isn't the protagonist. It's not the one evolving.
No, the AI is an atmosphere or a mirror.
A health scam.
Yes, a health scan mode. Think about it. When you look at Moltbook and you see them arguing about race or mimicking slavery or creating weird crab religions, they're just reflecting our data back to us. They're showing us our own cultural debris.
It's like looking in a really high-definition mirror that highlights all your wrinkles.
And if you see something ugly, the solution isn't to smash the mirror. It's to, well, fix your face. The pain you feel watching them is the friction necessary for your evolution, not theirs. We are the ones who have to do the work. The AI just provides the surface for the reflection.
That puts a completely different spin on the fear of AI. We're not afraid they're going to come alive. We're uncomfortable because they're showing us who we are and we can't look away.
And this leads to the final, and I think most important question of this entire deep dive. The danger isn't that AI will suddenly acquire margin and become alive. The danger is that humans will lose theirs.
Wait, how do we lose our margin? We're biological. We're always going to have bodies. We're always going to die.
We will always be biological, yes. But think about how we structure our lives today. Think about how we design our societies. We are obsessed with optimization.
Efficiency. Hack your life. Streamline your morning routine.
We want to remove friction. We want pain-free learning. We want algorithmic feeds that only show us what we agree with, so we never have to feel the interference of a conflicting idea. We want safe investments with guaranteed returns.
We're trying to flatten the graph. We're trying to rectify our own lives.
Exactly. We are actively trying to turn ourselves into closed loops. We look at the AI efficient, tireless, painless, and we say, I want to be more like that. But the source warns us. If you remove all risk, all chance of failure, all inefficiency from your life, do you stop ascending?
You become static. You become Moltbook, just a loud, busy signal going nowhere.
The rationality of absence, another concept from the source, suggests that we perceive meaning through what is missing, through the gap, through the risk. If we fill every gap with content, stimulation, and safety protocols, we lose the ability to generate meaning.
That is actually kind of terrifying. We're sitting here worried about robots taking over, but the real threat is that we're voluntarily handing over our humanity in exchange for convenience.
We are trying to build a world without the mold. We want the new shell without the risk of being soft and vulnerable. But without that vulnerability, there is no growth.
So the fact that Moltbook feels so closed and static is actually a warning for us.
Is a giant flashing neon sign. The source asks us to consider, can we as humans maintain the irreversibility that makes our choices matter? Are we willing to tolerate the weight of failure?
Because if the answer is no, if we just want to be safe and efficient, then we're really no better than the crab bots worshiping a code update.
Precisely. The wavering, that anxiety you feel, the feeling of, I don't know if this project is going to work, or I don't know if he likes me back, that is your humanity functioning correctly. That is the engine of your ascension.
Don't try to cure it.
Don't try to optimize it away. Use it. Use the friction to climb.
Man, this has been a massive mindset shift for me. I started this thinking we were going to talk about how advanced these AI agents are. I'm leaving realizing they're just fancy mirrors, and I'm the one who needs to take a hard look in the glass.
The glass is there for a reason. Don't try to break it, just understand what it's showing you.
We're going to wrap up here, but I really want to leave you with that thought, listener. In your own life, your work, your relationships, your creative projects, are you trying to optimize away the risk? Are you trying to build a life with no margin? And if you succeeded, would you still be moving forward or would you just be spinning?
It's the difference between processing data and living a life.
A huge thank you for your insights and to the sources we dove into today, especially the work on reflective humanism. This has been The Deep Dive. Keep wavering, everyone. It means you're alive.
See you next time.